Is it too often the case?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. A interpretation debate should be centered around the plan and the political implementation of the plan. The act can only be solvency claims generated from the acting of the plan by the United States by the United States. And B violation, the act adds an extra topical mindset shift instead of only claiming solvency from the implementation of USFG action. C reason to vote egg 1 extra T, feeling a mindset shift of the federal government, the state government, the U.S. public or world avoids critical questions of transition implementation is key to net ground. And this is a topical version of the act. They only need to defend solvency from the plan. And 2 is implementation. It's key to negative ground. Debating the abstracts impossible. Ignite 4. The articulate, non-revocable, non-degrowable, more statements is easy. The problem is deciding how to apply them in specific cases. Even more distinctions, including the abstractions, unless the help of political leaders to choose in practice. And debatable, controversial point of action creates argument states that's key to avoid derivation to be creating truth claims. It destroys the decision-making benefits of the activity. Time of really 8. If everyone's in agreement, there's no need for debate. Controversially, such a prerequisite take A, coming up with proofs, etc. Effective decision without a question. Or good general argument may occur. We can think about many concerns. Participation is not enough without a particular question. Democratic sides. They can understand the result of important decision ends by the failure of the immigration debate. Without a focus, they can agree about the state of education on solution. Besides questions posed, more profitable discussions open. They aid in identifying difference. Resolve dependence mighty from the sword is debatable, yet fails to provide clear basis of argumentation. A general subject is still too broad. Argument can be phased in debate such as resolve the United States enter a treaty, neg by proof by arguing about a solution. This is not to say avoid creative interpretation. Debate is thus facilitated by a focus on a particular point. And the criticism. By political focus, re-entrenches human-animal divide, justifies non-criminal putting to death. Son of to 11. From the division between man and the animals, a conflict through the procedure of the machine that constructs human through exclusion and inclusion. The machine emphasizes the human of its animal content. The government concludes that the machine constructs the human by excluding that the yet human. A government defines bare life or was left with the individuals when falling the wrong side human-animal divide. Real life can be beyond set biological consistency and dignity and signaling the possibility of non-criminal putting to death. The horrors that result from bare life are produced by the exclusionary logic of the immediate distinction between human and animal, and claims that humanized bodies limits violence against non-humans and guarantees human and non-human oppression. Only the discourse can solve non-humans can solve. Decade 10. Human rights justice coordinators, directors of purge a subhuman category from our critical repertoire. They seek to convince us to restore all human beings as human. This does not achieve its aims of protecting the vulnerable human groups because the life is this subhuman category intact. The category is posed to the animalized. The targeted group of better strategy be to limit that subhuman category by punching the human non-human boundary itself and claiming human superiority. Groups have been those qualified as humans to make claim makes a species difference. We always be vulnerable to subhuman because this is to coordinate into human violent conflict to implicating deaths and need course is required, and ignoring human exploitation non-humans assures speciesism continues. Bell and Russell 2K. Environmental crisis, extinction, ozone depletion, climate change, reflect Russell consultant nature, disrupting social scripts that structure and legitimize human domination. Non-human structures fundamental to dealing with environmental issues are challenging. At first, the social arrangements, forms of domination are mutually reinforcing that explosion scrutiny through which humans distance themselves from nature. Movements against oppression need to be supported. Exploration and portions of gender, race, gender, class, and sexuality produced with little knowledge from the systematic links between human oppression, domination, and nature. The relationship has been ignored. Non-human beings are shrouded. This characterizes even writers are called for rethinking more cultural position and centralization. They treat social categories as stable, represent, reproduce prevalent relations of power, anthropocentric, bias in category pedagogy, and anti-science and anti-text. Examples occur in these places that often use some sort of genetic benefit, defend beliefs they need to share. Humans are cast active agents, those who exclusively transform the world. The discourse frame reinforces a characteristic of critical pedagogy. The human-animal division is taken for granted as cultural and historical specificities not acknowledged. Unlike other social constructs, one drives persuasive expressivity and deep investigation become the normal way of receiving the word limits perceived. Perseverance on a question. And species makes possible systematic visualization or criminal justifies non-criminal putting to death of the ever root cause of all oppression. Sonny 6. Proposing instead of managed to make a liberal with the break of humanism so far writing knowledge by question speciesism. The strategy of separating human beings from animals in order to the subject status of the members of the human species recognized successful given the discourse and the ability here to exclude most individuals, those two groups of people being marginalized. There are many privileges. These species logic dominance of human animals, non-human animals replaced in a good place and a place the full transcendence of the human requires to sacrifice the animal, which in turn makes possible a symbolic economy which engage in non-criminal putting to death the humans while marking them as animal use soldiers, prisoners to animal being make fun of their bare life instead of accepting all non-living morality and they share the victims as well. As other living being tortures the systematic utilization confirmed that the power of the discourse of species to affect humanity depends on the prior acceptance of true specialization. We all human and non-human life have a stake in the discourse institution of speciesism and solves capitalism. The all resolves the intertwined logic of profit. Best time. Critical animal studies reject liberal reforms rooted in the delusion that irrational, violent, and substantial, your unsubstantial system can be rendered rational, peaceful, and sustainable. In pursuit of development, accumulation, and drives its dynamic, grow to die economy, capitalism, vows in ancient species, human and indigenous cultures, capitalism does not pride in the reduction of living beings who dominate the exploited resource. The domination of humans, animals, and the earth is ancient institutional resource of progress and culture and ancient pathology converge to modern technologies and economic system organized solely around the profit. The result is an unprecedented crisis stemming from a cultural kind of growth, murderous extermination imperatives, and the alternative to embrace the standpoint of animals overcomes the humanist bias of women's culture and connects expansive human and non-human and flows to the child of liberation of oppression, rather than the state of all oppression. Verse 9. Theorists cannot employ the insights postmodern coming the limitations of rarely challenge human-animal dichotomy. They have to say that the human-animal opposition underpins opposition between the reasons, emotion, the thought body, human men, women, white, black, and the Western, non-Western, whereas neo-history has been written from the human standpoint, how critical or radical, benefit theorists manages to beyond the human's bias and try to adopt a proper, analytical, moral relationship of animals that fail to never was to grasp the importance of non-human animals in human life, providing perspectives on the table through a historical approach of the animal standpoint, analyzes how the domination of human over non-human is intimately linked to the domination of humans over one another standpoint theory, thus leads an intellectual to understand the commodities of oppression, and hence the reliance politics and system of revolution, viewpoint, and total liberalization, and case. Legalization and expansion of neoliberal privatization of the market. The market is only accessible to the white upper class. Column 14. State control dreams of political progress, pushing the government overhaul the weed as distortion, big marijuana is born. Legalization seems more like neoliberal privatization of the market, business boom. Those that formerly tried to compete remain locked to the drug war has been classic. These individuals with permanent effects, fix them in laws, cannot attract legalization tricks of winners. Other good market from those legal enough to find themselves on the wrong side of the law have capital investment, expensive business may remain shackled by pre-existing landscape, the market, and regulation prohibit them from participating in the correction of the marijuana, which was centralization exclusion. And the one he sees a contradiction. I don't specify anything beyond legalization, simultaneously contend the score is racial, structurally racist. The only possible result of planning moral racist and regulatory system and refuse the anti-racist moves. Comment 12. Legalization is something yes, no details about it. Both have prohibition, paid and legal availability to tax and regulation to define the market. We could break up the enforcement picture. We could target adopted enforcement strategy by reducing the violence and distort the risk of legalization leads to consumption of profit tax and regulation. Tax need to be collected and those regulations to be enforced. They set up incentives for innovation and most arrest break of the year for breaking the alcohol law. So that's the case. We get a lot of the drug abuse problem by moving speculation of regulations so tribunal bobs to obey them, and legal weight deepens class and race divides and gives the drug award drugs and the release in life by ensuring that the class whites are no longer victims of it. Simon 13. The surest way to ensure the base of people comes to reduce the limited threat to white Americans. Extraordinary rates of incarceration of the very state, although our drug enforcement defended the share of the incarceration under statute of compromise of hard drug defendants. 1 in 3 African American boys born today were in prison because of the entirety of the drug war. And marijuana is the most basic and fundamental place where white middle class intersect the drug war. So a little bit from the actual political isolation of people, the poor people divide those that champion marijuana reform, we perpetrating injustice. The fundamental challenge has been the grading departure of influential class from organized opposition. Government has created itself as a requirement of widespread popular support to white folk and directly with them by the policy program. The chance of getting the reach of the priorities minimalized. They acknowledge the drug wars most of the perceived threat in the air going to Russia, the growing opposition, removing weed, will consider coordinating and isolate poor people, black and poor people of color to the brutalities of the drug war, and violate political powers inevitable by modern democratic regimes, limit coercive policies, increase legalization, provide space for personal autonomy, subject to be taken to support. Analysis can be misleading because the booster case different dynamics of power. The democratic state is different from totalitarianism. Democratic regime requires direction and participation to autonomy, control orientation when singing by politics. Thus, should make lead to universal step in the oppression of retracting power, set for social relations, and legalization to raise political capital and other issues to prevent structural reforms. 13. While this advocacy leads to some of the problems of resolve, the effects of perfect legalization result in insufficient amount of political capital. A white African American mayor and civil rates required to cost the green nature of marijuana. August over legalization reduced the financial burden assignment and structure to appeal both to rights and African American legalization directly to address racial disparities. Legalization being effort to reduce racial profiling, career and disparity, arrest and incarceration, political capital needs to spend on advancing the controversial point to be best spent elsewhere. Limits section ordinance that go beyond the limit protection and prohibition use of race, informing public cause of reasonable suspicion. The state state banning race-based searches and procedure likely result of permanently marijuana legalized where past practice the problem becomes solved, and legalization doesn't solve broader problems of law enforcement. Move 14. Whether legalizing marijuana benefit African American districts means the impact of more arrest and plus African Americans of 3.73 times more likely might be arrested for marijuana legalization does not any place. What's these target marijuana access to two Russian minorities and assisting marijuana legal possession? Marijuana is on a right police officer's ability to go further and search for more substance and broader interpretation of intended consequences of rather keep the door open for racial profiling, cultural incompetence, and surround a core belief.
Alright, what does it mean to embrace the standpoint of the animal?
Right, a couple of things. The best evidence refers to that it's kind of like a more of a quotation than an actual action in order to refer to other actually states. He makes the argument that we need to have a historical analysis about the divide between human and non-human species, and that previous literature has not delved into that. That's why the issues still occur, and thus an analysis of that would be able to disrupt the dichotomy that exists between the two.
So there's an analysis of the standpoint between the relationship
it's
of
the
human
analysis.
and
It's a historical analysis of the dichotomy that exists between the human and non-human species. Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
I understand. The historical analysis of the dichotomy.
Mhm.
Seems like there's some anthro researchers who have done that. Why haven't we like broken down the dichotomy?
Yeah, the best evidence makes the claim that although some research has dived into the subject, it's not sufficient or
It's
substantial
also a
enough to
question
make
of
it
like
solved.
continually doing that, right? Like our argument, similar to like a CAP historical materialism argument, is that when we have the ability to like constantly analyze the way that those structures have enacted themselves historically,
Where
that
do
is
you
a
think
better
that this
starting point
evidence-
for analyzing things like the AF. Like
Does-
if anxiety is a problem, we are a better starting point for
Does the
analyzing
alt
it.
ever lead into like actual mobilization to be able to break down these dichotomies, or is it just a constant like thing?
I think we would
Yeah.
make the argument that it can do both. It's both a constant thing and it would eventually lead to movements that break down that relationship.
Where do you think the best evidence makes that claim or makes that argument?
It makes the claim that it's necessary, before any movements can occur, it's a prerequisite to alert more groups and members of society to the dichotomy.
Yeah, the whole
that
basis of
exists.
this argument is that theory matters and theory affects action. And so if we don't have a good theoretical grounding for actions like saying that legalization of marijuana is good, then that's not going to be good, that the basis of that affects the way that it's
Okay.
implemented.
What ground do you lose?
What ground do we lose? Our argument's not specifically like a framework argument in traditional sense. It's more of a mindset shift argument in which you claim post-playing this humongous like different viewpoint will be enacted through the use of fiat. We would argue we aren't able to contest that because that is a utopian ideology.
Yeah, it's
You
really
made
hard
the
to argue
argument that
against
you-
the state might not exist post-AF.
You seem to like have made the argument that you lose some form of ground. I want to know specifically. What.
Yeah, that's what I was
We
just
don't
saying.
get to question the solvency of the affirmative
Why not?
because it's utopian in ideology. You fiat all these processes occur besides the actual implementation of the plan, which would just be legalization.
So the plain text is like embrace anxiety, right? So if like you can fiat that like everyone, Congress, etc., embraces anxiety, that's kind of difficult for us to find anything like. How do we argue against like the state doesn't exist post-plan cross X1AC because we embrace anxiety? Like,
It would
that's
also
kind
take
of-
out like a lot of dissats
kind of
to.
rough. Well, yeah, that's why.
Not entirely sure that that's correct, but okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Brooke?